Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Well, what a day. Today we witnessed perhaps the messiest public breakup personally I've ever seen, certainly the messiest public breakup I've ever covered. Now, we all knew this was coming. I'm not sure we knew it would be quite so Real Housewives of Mar-a-Lago, but everyone knew it was only a matter of time before Donald Trump and Elon Musk broke up. How many Scaramucci's do we think that Donald will let pass before his ego can no longer tolerate the adoration and authority of his co-president?
There's only room for one narcissistic billionaire.
This is not exactly the most stable bromance.
Ego the size of President Trump and Elon Musk, and how that can that last?
I keep wondering when this bromance between Trump and Elon Musk is going to blow up like a SpaceX rocket.
Well, the 327-day whirlwind political romance between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, which started with Musk's full endorsement the day Trump was almost assassinated in Butler, Pennsylvania, and went through nearly $290 million of spending to get Trump back in the White House. Through weird rally appearances, his controversial, say the least, inauguration salute. He did that twice, remember. His chainsaw days leading Doge, the embarrassing state election loss in Wisconsin, and just so much more. Now, to be clear here, all of it has resulted in untold damage to the functioning of our federal government, to the lives of millions of people, both in our country and around the world, some of the poorest people in the world. Not to mention the trashing of Musk's own brand and the real devastation to his signature business. But now, well, things have gotten really messy. See, it started last Friday when his time in government had expired. With a literal black eye, Musk was given a fond Oval Office farewell as news reports about his drug use and quotes like, "Nobody liked the guy," were showing up in the papers. A few days later, Elon Musk began attacking, criticizing Trump and his signature big, beautiful bill as a, quote, pork-filled, disgusting abomination that Republicans should be ashamed of voting for and who should be replaced and kill the bill. Sounds of kill the bill. Now, through it all, Trump stayed somewhat uncharacteristically quiet, although we all knew that wasn't going to last. This is not the most emotionally regulated individual we've ever encountered. So it came up today in the Oval Office, and, well, here's what happened.
I can understand why he's upset. Remember, he was here for a long time. You saw a man who was very happy when he stood behind the Oval desk. And even with the black eye, I said, "Do you want a little makeup? We'll get you a little makeup." But he said, "No, I don't think so," which is interesting and very nice. He wants to be who he is, so you could make that statement too, I guess. Look, Elon and I had a great relationship. I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem. And he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate, because that's billions and billions of dollars. And it really is unfair. I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot. People leave my administration and they love us. And then at some point they miss it so badly. And some of them embrace it and some of them actually become hostile. I don't know what it is. It's sort of Trump derangement syndrome, I guess they call it.
Now, after Trump unloaded his feelings about Musk in the Oval, the whole thing was honestly just getting started and spilled out into the public arena of the, this is just perfect, dueling social media platforms owned by these squabbling rich guys. And it got so messy. I don't know if you were following this during the day. I suspect some of you were. But I can't possibly describe you all by myself. So I brought in my good friend Alex Wagner, who's going to help me to go through a blow-by-blow of what happened next. Alex, how are you?
I'm good. It's the role of a lifetime, Chris.
Were you as rapt watching this unfold? All right. I want you to do, so we've now let it, Trump fires off a shot in the Oval Office. We get the next salvo. This comes from Musk.
Elon Musk on X at 12:19 p.m. Whatever. Keep the EV solar incentive cuts in the bill, even though no oil and gas subsidies are touched. Very unfair. But ditch the mountain of disgusting pork in the bill. In the entire history of civilization, there has never been legislation that is both big and beautiful. Everyone knows this.
Now, one of the things I have to say about this, and this will be a theme in this exchange all day, is there's a lot of they're both right.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that, like, it's like all of a sudden Trump has discovered that Elon Musk has some conflicts.
Yeah, that maybe he wasn't just there because he thought Trump was an American hero.
Right, exactly.
Maybe it had something to do with business interests.
Billions and billions of dollars
Government
exposed
contracts.
to government regulation, government investigation. Like, it's so wild for those of us who've been sitting on this side of the camera being like,
It hasn't been a secret to anybody but maybe Donald Trump.
yes, it's totally corrupt to let this guy out. All right, so Musk then responds to the clip that we just played with Trump saying he's seen the bill.
Yes, and that Trump is disappointed in Elon. And Musk says at 12:25 p.m., false. This bill was never shown to me, even once, and was passed in the dead of night so fast that almost no one in Congress could even read it. Again, he does have a point there. 8 hours between when the bill was released and when it was voted on. A self-imposed deadline by the House Republican Conference. An own goal of their own spectacular fabrication.
Again, a theme that will emerge here in this exchange.
12:44 p.m. Elon Musk retweeting a tweet about Donald Trump's earlier statements railing against deficits and pushing for balanced budgets. Elon Musk writes, "Where is this guy today?"
By the way,
Not a bad point.
100% clean hit. 100% clean hit. It is tweet after tweet about how insane it is to blow up the deficits. We need a balanced budget. What about deficits? What about the debt? What about the debt ceiling? Like, tweet after tweet after tweet.
And let me just say the weirdness of this, that Donald Trump is now the person on the inside defending a bloated federal government,
Yes,
or whatever
right.
it's being called, and Elon Musk is the rabble-rouser on the outside. 1:38 p.m., Elon Musk wistfully retweeting a picture of Trump outside the White House looking at a Tesla and says, "Remember this, at real Donald Trump?" Anybody who's ever broken up with anybody knows that feeling where you're so angry, and then you remember for a minute why you love that person. Anyway.
This was, by the way, this was the famous Tesla
Yes.
showcase on the day that the stock went down.
Yes.
But yeah, this is a very emo tweet here.
Remember how we used to love each other.
All right, and then Trump responds, Elon was wearing thin in classic Trump quotation marks. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do, and he just went crazy.
At 2:48 p.m., Elon retweets a tweet about, wearing thin, and the fact that Trump asked Elon to leave the White House. Elon writes, "Such an obvious lie. So sad."
All right, now here comes another one where Donald Trump has a point here. Trump says the easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. Again, we have been saying this. We've been screaming this.
And
he has billions of dollars of government contracts, billions and billions of dollars of government contracts.
And ultimately, this is the biggest hammer, I think, that Trump has to throw with Elon, at Elon in the course of all of this. What strikes me as odd is that Elon ever took the position that getting rid of the EV mandates would be okay for his company, given the analysis that says he may lose as much as $1.2 billion in profit at Tesla. Things take a turn for the deeply emotional and highly controversial shortly after this, Chris.
Yes. Well, because keep in mind that what has just happened is he's saying, I'm going to come after your company.
Yes. Which is
An
a red line.
An escalation.
And Elon volleys back at 3:20 p.m., retweeting a post a tweet he had sent just a few moments earlier. Time to drop the really big bomb. At real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, as in Jeffrey Epstein. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. Elon retweets that and says, mark this post for the future. The truth will come out.
By the way, again, this is one of these things where everyone's looking worse and worse, as is often the case with this. Oh, he's in the Epstein, so that's why you're bringing your kid around the Oval Office all the time, right. Or you knew this and didn't say anything, and Trump turning around saying, oh, the way to cut the budget is Elon's contract. It's well, that was true before you had a falling out with him.
Right. And were you thinking that all along? Were you thinking that the person that you were bringing your child around to was a sexual predator, allegedly, and the person that you were hanging out with was actually the architect of fiscal despair for the United States of America? I don't know.
Yeah. And it's again, no one, what's so striking here, aside from the sort of delightful messiness, no one's even pretending anymore to have the public in mind. There's no
Do they know
pretense. There's no one is pretending that anyone cares about, the American people.
Right. We can hear you guys.
So then Trump says, I don't mind Elon turning against me, but he should have done so months ago. This is one of the greatest bills ever presented to Congress, blah, blah, blah. I didn't create this mess. I'm just here to fix it. This puts our country in a path of greatness. All caps, make America great again.
To which, at 4:09 p.m., Elon responds, in light of the president's statement about the cancellation of my government contracts, SpaceX will begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately, which, if I'm correct, Chris, would strand the 4 astronauts who were on the International Space Station.
Yes,
right?
to be clear, and also, and this is something that people raised alarms about with Elon Musk during the Biden years, the U.S. space program has become insanely dependent on this one guy.
Yes.
Which, again, as these guys are going back and forth in this juvenile performance of extremely cringe-inducing versions of masculinity, put it that way, that this is one of the cards that Elon has.
Yes, this is why this matters. This is why this is more than just like an unfortunate series of text exchanges. This is why this has national.
By the way, we're not done. We're only at 4 p.m.
4:11 p.m., Elon retweets a tweet that says, President versus Elon, who wins? My money's on Elon. Trump should be impeached and J.D. Vance should replace him. Elon tweets, yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
impeach
theory.
Trump.
An interesting theory.
I do like, for the sheer messiness of it, I do like dragging J.D. Vance into it.
Of course.
Against his will.
Who now has to have a position on
Good.
this.
Well, we would love to hear what he has to say.
15 minutes later, Elon tweets, the Trump tariffs will cause a recession in the second half of this year. Nostradamus,
Which, again,
predicting probably something that is
but also,
quite likely.
again, why didn't you say, like...
Where were you?
Now you're telling us?
Where were you last week? 4:43 p.m., Elon Musk tweeting what I'll call the eyebrow raise emoji. In 1992, Trump partied with Jeffrey Epstein. Just going to leave this here. It's a retweet of a video from MSNBC with Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump.
Could I just say, I love the fact that they're just playing right there. The MSNBC video bug is burned in there. Like, yeah, no kidding. We have been covering this. Mm-hmm. I did a whole bit during the campaign about if you were a single issue Jeffrey Epstein voter, that you had one candidate, which was Biden and then Kamala Harris, who were the only ones who had nothing. RFK was like, yeah, I was on the Epstein plane a few times. Donald Trump's like, oh, here's the video of us partying together. And my quote to New York Magazine about, like, he likes them young. But again, it's nice to see our content, America, MSNBC bug burned in there, getting out there.
The things we've been talking about turns out true. And finally, is it time to create Musk tweets? Is it time to create a new political party in America that actually represents the 80% in the middle? Yes or no?
So here, there's a lot to say about this. First of all, let's just, we all have to live in this world.
Unfortunately, we do, Chris.
I know, but it's not been fun. But it's nice to have a day where it feels fun.
Well, it's nice to have a day
where it's like,
with a heavy dose of Schadenfreude, right?
Yeah,
like this.
Yes.
We all knew this was coming. These people have been acting poorly in the interests of the American public, and now they've revealed themselves to be the charlatans that they actually are.
Yeah, and I think the other thing about it is, again, some clean hits by both men. Yeah. Like, that's the other thing. It's like, right, yes, this is exactly what we've been saying. This is the thing that's been so maddening about Trump all these years, and it's also in some cases been true about Elon, where I could sit here, you could sit there, and we could make this point over and over again. Yeah. And then the people closest to him will leave the administration the next day, say exactly the same thing. And it's like, okay, we don't have Trump derangement system. We're not crazy. It is exactly what it looks like.
It's finally not the willful denial of reality. But I also have to say,
it's also cynical and
as someone who just helped perform this, this is not something we should not, this is a moment in American history where you're seeing the most powerful man, the leader in many ways of the free world, Donald Trump, go head to head with the richest man in the world. Yeah. Two people absent any empathy or humility, one of whom may or may not be addicted to ketamine. And the public has enlarged, the public reelected Donald Trump. And this is the show maybe they wanted, and this is the show they got. It's upsetting in that respect. It's so bad.